Hey guys, it's Pesha Forrest, and today I want to discuss vulnerability and how being vulnerable leads to love and connection. Before I get started talking about this, I want to be vulnerable with you all and tell you guys that I'm sorry I haven't been super consistent about filming these videos. I actually really struggle with almost every winter seasonal depression. It is incredibly difficult for me to stay positive when I can't be outside, when I feel trapped indoors. And most people who are close to me know that I love to be outside, I love to be in the sun, I like to walk around barefoot, and I love to garden. So it's been a little bit of a rough go, and I am trying to work through it. In fact, I've had a few people say to me, Pesha, why don't you try and watch your own videos? which is funny, and I love that. It's very cute. And I've still kept up with most of my stuff, which I think is incredibly important for anybody who is struggling with the same thing that I am right now, to keep doing your positive affirmations, to keep setting intentions in your journal, and to doing your mirror affirmations. I realize that being active during wintertime is incredibly important for me, so I'm trying to stay on top of doing my yoga and getting better sleep as well. So anyways, let's get into it. Let's talk about vulnerability and how important it is in forming deep bonds and connections with people, and also why it is scary for a lot of us to practice vulnerability. So it is incredibly difficult sometimes to practice vulnerability with people, and this again, it always stems back to this, you guys. You know what I'm going to say. It stems back from our conditioning. There were times when we were younger, and that was when we were our most vulnerable. We needed our family and our parents and our other caretakers, our teachers and our siblings to look out for us and to take care of us. And there were times when we were younger that we were incredibly vulnerable and we didn't get our needs met, or we were shamed, or we were mocked, or we were ridiculed, or we were rejected or abandoned, or some sort of slight that we had occur to us that taught us being vulnerable is a scary thing to do. But it is the only thing that leads to love and connection. And what do I mean when I say this? Well, here's a few examples, especially in interpersonal relationships, on how vulnerability can lead to love and connection. So we get hurt, we get wounded, we go through breakups, we go through painful rejections, and this puts us in a state of shame. This is why it was hard for me actually to film videos, which kept making me more depressed, was because I was ashamed of the depression I was feeling, because here I am trying to teach you guys about self-love and self-care and getting into a better state of mind, but that doesn't always mean that it's positive. And once I got out of the shame and acknowledged it and started talking to people about it, realizing that I'm still worthy and I'm still deserving of unconditional love and respect. And I still have the ability to share this valuable information with you, regardless of what my mental state might be or my emotional state might be at the moment. Vulnerability, right? So, in interpersonal relationships, because of previous breakups or times in relationships where someone was unkind to us, we learn to shut parts of ourselves off. We learn to hide parts of ourselves because we were ashamed to show those parts of ourselves, because it led to hurt. Again, that's why being vulnerable is scary sometimes. So in relationships with our partners or with our parents or with our friends, what we have the tendency to do, instead of being completely vulnerable and authentic in ourselves, we hide aspects of ourselves. If we're in an argument with somebody and somebody hurts our feelings, instead of being vulnerable and saying, hey, that hurt my feelings, let's address it and talk about it, we either fight or flight scenarios, which is another part of not being able to be vulnerable enough to share how we're really feeling with other people. This is why people sometimes become incredibly passive aggressive, because one time in their life they probably stood up for themselves and it was met with a lot of resistance from somebody else, or they were shamed into not doing that anymore. They were conditioned to be that way. So they learn how to get their needs met by being passive aggressive. So if we want to be fully understood, if we want deep love and connection, it takes vulnerability. It takes being able to say how you're really feeling and to truly be yourself in front of other people. Because unless we can't truly be seen for who we are, no one's going to be able to fully understand who we are and love that version of us. But being vulnerable is scary because of rejection. So we have to get out of this mindset. We have to get out of the conditioning and the programming that says that if we show who we really are, we won't be loved. But that's not the kind of love that anybody really wants. You really want to be loved for who you really are, and that takes vulnerability. Now, I was talking with a close friend of mine the other day, and him and his partner decided to have a conversation and get back together. They had actually separated for a few months. So they decided to get back together, and he was telling me on the phone, sharing me with this, and I said, well, that's great. I'm really happy for you. And he said, well, yeah, but I don't feel really comfortable being vulnerable. So I'm going to kind of see how this goes, and I'm going to, stand back and kind of hold back a little bit. And I said to him, you have to do the exact opposite. I said, if you really want this relationship to work out, if you want love and connection with your partner, I said, you're going to have to do the exact opposite of that. I said, you're going to have to be completely vulnerable with that partner, with her. I said, because if you don't, what you're doing inherently is you're creating distance. You're the one who's doing that, not that person. You want love and connection with this person, but yet you're saying, I'm going to put up this wall that's going to actually distance myself from love and connection. Lack of vulnerability actually sets up a lot of us for this scenario, where the one thing that we crave the most, which is love and connection, we're creating the resistance to by our lack of vulnerability. I'm going to try and put a guided meditation up as soon as possible for you guys on how to be more vulnerable and be more authentic in your lives and to help you through this. Because it is something that's difficult, and it takes being aware that not every situation in our life is the same as what it was with our parents or our previous partner. We have to treat every situation as if it's a new situation. And that, for the most part, people have good intentions, and people mean well, and people don't mean to hurt other people. And we all want the same thing. We all want love and connection, and we're all deserving of it, and we're all worthy of it. Anyways, those are my thoughts today on vulnerability, you guys. If you'd like, please share your thoughts in the comments section below on vulnerability, or if you have an experience about a time in your life when it was scary and you were vulnerable anyways and it worked out in your favor, I'd love to hear it. So share your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up or share with friends. If you want to stay tuned to more videos like this or to my guided meditations, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you all have a wonderful, beautiful, lovely day.